I see change.
Alright, bottles on me, long as someone drink it, never drop the ball. Fuck it, y'all.
Alright, hey guys, welcome back to the next episode of the 2017-2018 team previews. Next up, we got the Florida Panthers, who had a really disappointing year not making the playoffs. They tried to, trade for Thomas Vanek to try to make that extra run to the Cup, but, they didn't even make the playoffs. They finished with 81 points, 35 wins, 36 losses, 11 overtime losses. So, let's preview this team. So, the projected first line is supposed to be Jonathan Huberdeau, Alexander Barkov, and Evgeny Dadonov. So, Jonathan Huberdeau, he was injured a lot of last year, and I think if Huberdeau, when he came back, he played amazing. I think he was point per game. So, Huberdeau is going to be the difference maker for the Panthers. They really need him to stay healthy. Barkov is still only 22, which is just unbelievable. Barkov is capable of 70 points a year. He's got to stay healthy also. So that first line has a lot of potential, and then obviously they signed Evgeny Dadonov, and no one knows how good he'll be in the NHL. If he scores, 15, 20 goals, I don't know how this team will do. If Dadonov ends up scoring 25, 30 goals, this first line is going to be lethal, especially if Huberdeau and Barkov can stay healthy. So the first line has tons of potential, but health and Dadonov, how he plays, is really going to depend on how good this line will do. Second line, Henrik Haapala, Vincent Trocheck, and Radim Vrbata. So Henrik Haapala, he was a signing from the Liga. I don't know much about him. Apparently, he's 5'9", he's 23 years old, so if he can put together 20 goals, he'll be good on the second line. Trocheck obviously really came into his own. He's a really good two-way player, good second-line center, and then they signed Radim Vrbata, who, it's funny with Radim Vrbata because he plays for the Coyotes. He plays amazing, and then it's like, oh, I want Vrbata, so some team will trade for him or sign him, and he won't do as good. But then it's weird, like he plays amazing in Arizona, but anywhere else, not so well. So we'll see how he does with the Panthers. Again, Henrik Haapala, another signing from somewhere else. If he can score 20, 25 goals, this second line's also lethal with Trocheck, who can also score 20 goals, 60 points, and then Vrbata. We'll see how he does. Third line, they got Jared McCann, Nick Bukestad, and Jace Howerluck. Jared McCann, part of the good Branson trade, what they got in return. He's 21 years old. He was a first-round pick. He didn't have a very good year in the AHL, but he could easily bounce back and be a difference maker for the Panthers, which they really need because with this lineup they have, it's pretty weak. It doesn't have very good depth, so they're going to need McCann to step up. Nick Bukestad shouldn't be a third-line center; he should be a second-line center. He's a really good center, so that's a good spot to. That's where I'm trying. You know what I'm trying to say. He's better than average for third-line center, and then Jace Howerluck. Just a guy they pulled from the minors. We'll see how he does. Fourth line, Michael Haley, Derek McKenzie, and Colin Savior. Colin Savior and Derek McKenzie are great fourth-line grinders, and Michael Haley, another free agent signing. So this Florida Panthers forward core, it has a lot of question marks. A lot of guys brought up from the AHL. They have a lot of guys they signed, Dadonov, Henrik Haapala. So this forward core, it's hard to project because it all depends on how these signings and, bring-ups from the AHL do. For example, the Penguins, whenever the Penguins bring up AHL prospects or draft or, sign players, they seem to do pretty well. So, Gensel, Sheary, Rust. So we'll see how the Panthers do. But if these guys can all, mold together, all put together good years, this Florida Panthers forward core is pretty good. So defensively, Keith Yandle with Aaron Ekblad. Keith Yandle, he's 31, but he's still pretty good. He can still score you half a point per game. Aaron Ekblad said how he wasn't very impressed with his season. He wants to do a lot better. He's been slacking. So Ekblad, if he can stay healthy and have a good year, I remember I had him on my fantasy team, and I dropped him because it was just crazy. He wasn't performing very well. He was a bad plus minus. But anyways, second line defensive pairing, Michael Matheson and Jason Demers. Demers is a good defenseman. Matheson, 23 years old, first-round draft pick. He's really good also. I like that pairing. Last line, Mark Pysyk and Alex Petrovic, who are both 25-year-olds. They're both pretty good. Pysyk's top 6. Nothing special. Petrovic's top 6. It's not weak, is what I'm trying to say. Those aren't like guys you say, they're solid top 6 defensemen. So the defensive core is a little bit under average. I don't think you want Yandle in your top 2. Matheson, he's a top 4/top 6. Demers is fine in the top 4, and then Pisak and Petrovic are fine. But there's no really a standout defenseman, other than if Ekblad, of course, bounces back really crazy and has a really good year. So it's so tough to project this team. Goalies Luongo and Reimer, I think they'll probably split the time in the crease. And then prospects they have that could, or extra players, they have Dennis Malgin. No, not Evgeny Malkin, but he's 20 years old. He's fourth in draft pick. I think he played a little bit with the Panthers. I think he did pretty well. They also got Dryden Hunt, 21 years old. He was a signing, and then the backup defenseman is Ian McCoshen. So he's 22. He was a second round draft pick. So he might have a bright future as well. He could replace Mark Pisak or Petrovic if there's an injury or anything like that. So there's the extra players. Some prospects. Obviously, they have Owen Tippett, Henrik Borgstrom. Do I recognize any defensemen? No. And goalies? No. Obviously they lost Yager, they lost Vanek, they lost Kindle. So they lost some core players, but so the Panthers, it's hard to project this. It's really, really difficult to project this team, but I just don't really see the future of this team because there's just so many question marks. Like this team could easily be the second or third divisional spot in their conference, another conference, in their division. Even ahead of Montreal, you don't know, or they could easily be last in the NHL. Not last, but like bottom 5. It's so tough to project this team because there's so many question marks. Can Huberdeau stay healthy? Can Barkov stay healthy? Will Dadonov score 25 goals? Will he score 15? Will Rivada actually play good? Will Henrik Kapala play good as a signing? Those are 3 players in your top 6 that you're not sure of. So this team is very interesting. We'll see how they do. It's so tough to project this team. I don't think they'll make the playoffs, but I think they'll be very, very close. I think they'll be better. I think they'll be better than a lot of people think they'll be. I think they'll be close to the playoffs, but I don't think they'll make it. But anyways, how do you guys think this Florida Panthers team will do? It's so interesting. There's so many question marks on the team. We'll see how they do. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time.